Good morning, colleagues. That's us just about 10 o'clock and we are just about ready to start our session. Before we start, if I could just point out some protocols for the session, you'll see them on the screen in front of you. The session today is being recorded, and that means that if your camera is on, then you will be part of that recording. So we would ask that you turn your cameras off and your microphones off when you're not speaking, just so that it protects the bandwidth and makes for a more pleasant viewing experience for everybody. And it means then that if there's any slides being shared, that it's easier for everyone to see. We are going to be asking you today to use the chat pane. And if you want to make a comment or ask a question, please feel free to use that. Also, if you've got any technical issues that are coming through, please feel free to pop them in the chat as well, and we'll see what we can do. If you do need closed captions, there is a feature for that available, and you will find that within the 3 dots for increased accessibility. If you do lose connection this morning and you or things don't seem to be working correctly for you, please don't panic. Just close down and come back in following the joining instructions that you received and how you entered previously. And hopefully, as if by magic, that will sort everything that normally goes wrong when we are online. If you would like to tweet, and we'd be really happy if you did, then if you could use the hashtag SLF22, and that just lets us see everything that's happening across SLF. Finally, as this session has been recorded, we would also ask that you don't take your own personal recordings or pictures, as the recordings will be made available for you to see at a future date. So that is our protocols this morning. What I will do is just now I will firstly introduce myself. My name is Alan Fleming and I'm an Education Officer for Education Scotland for Early Learning and Childcare, and I'm delighted this morning to be introducing this session on developing successful approaches to outdoor learning. Now, I know that you're not here to listen to me this morning. So firstly, we have got a presentation from Rowena Nursery School, who are going to be sharing with us their journey on outdoor learning. And then later on in the presentation, we will hear from 2 other settings from East Ayrshire, Flowerbank and Craighead. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Jackie Fulton from Rowena and let you hear all about the fantastic goings-on that's been happening at Rowena. Over to you.
Thanks, Alan. I'll share screen. Hi, everybody. My name is Jackie Fulton. I'm the head at Rowena Nursery. I started at the nursery in January 2021, so it was probably at the beginning of either the 2nd or the 3rd lockdown. Now, you know, for myself and my career in early years, you know, I think now I'm 18 years in early years, I haven't actually kind of had time and kind of the space that we're going to kind of see here at Rowena, which is absolutely lovely, but I've not had that. But actually, you know, when I was kind of reflecting when I came to the nursery at first, it's actually, you know, more than just having an actual space or this amazing environment. It's actually what happens inside it that really is the important part. It's about those relationships that we have with our children and our families and our colleagues. It's about our values and our beliefs that we have with children. And actually, for me, that's the main part of it. It's amazingly wonderful, the space that we've got, and we really appreciate it. But actually, it's not the be all and end all. It's everything else that really makes it what it is. You know, and at Rowena, a huge part of the children's day is spent outdoors. Now, that's completely through choice, which is great. You know, the children direct that. They decide what that looks like. And they tell us what they want and what they want to kind of spend the time outdoors through their actions, their emotions and their words. And obviously that's something within our kind of national practice guidance that's really clear and about listening to children. It's about listening, but actually we have to make sure that we're acting upon that, you know, child's voice and about the observations that we make. It's really important. So we've spent lots of time looking at the environment that we've got, but actually listening and acting upon children, and actually do we truly hear what our children are trying to tell us. So I think here it was really important as well to kind of start, you know, and especially for us as a setting, looking at our kind of practice as well within a kind of policy context. Do you know, all of these documents that you see here, there's common language that runs through them all, and it talks about the importance of engaging with children, and about that high quality outdoor play, and also about the importance of children listening, you know, about adults listening to children. And I think as educators, we know the importance of having that sound knowledge and kind of understanding about theory and policy, but actually we need to make sure that actually our context is kind of bridging the gap, you know, and informs and drives our practice. And, you know, at the nursery, you know, we use lots of these documents actually to inform our debates and our kind of reflections. There was lots of analysing going on about our practice and how it linked with these policy documents, and actually, you know, made us really reflect on the opportunities that we're providing our children and what that kind of looks like as well. I think as well, do you know, here Realising Ambition also talks about, you know, every learning environment in terms of the interaction, the experiences and the spaces, both indoors and out, tell us a story about how his play is valued. You know, a discussion that we had within our nursery is, what does our pedagogy, you know, tell people, you know, about who we are? You know, really, you know, so what's our story? And hopefully the presentation will kind of give you an insight into what our story looks like at Rowena. So here we are. This is our outdoor space. Now, this photograph was taken back in 2017, and the nursery does look very different now. It's, you know, it's an amazing space. We've also got space to the right of that, which is great. So the nursery is situated in the Nextwood area in Glasgow. The nursery moved to their standalone setting, I think it was in August 2016. Within the setting there is, we've got 3 playrooms. We have a Gaelic immersion playroom, we have a 2 to 3 playroom, and we have a large 3 to 5 playroom. And the service that we provide opens from 8 till 6. So you can imagine lots of shift patterns, lots of staff in and out, lots of children coming in and out at different times. Now, we have a staff team of CDOs and support for learning workers, roughly about 25 that we have, and we're registered for, I think it's 93 children that we're registered for. And, you know, at Rowena, we have a large number of children with ASN, you know, and I think that's a reflection across all our nurseries as well. And as I said, you know, for us, it's absolutely about listening to all our children's voices as well. So hopefully throughout the presentation, you'll see that as well. So in 2019, the nursery actually got an outdoor variation. So we had an additional 10 children that came to us. And we started working with Stramash, who provided our training on outdoors. Now they have, you know, nurseries up the north of Scotland, so in really outdoor, beautiful environments. So they get brought in to kind of support staff to build confidence and understanding of the kind of delivery of high quality outdoor play. You know, the training sessions that Stramash had actually linked really well to all the theory. So it was up-to-date theory and which guided our practice as well. Do you know, and it really made us reflect on why we do what we do and look at our own pedagogy, our outdoor play pedagogy, and what that meant and what it looked like and what it felt like for the children. Do you know, it was a whole nursery approach that we took as well that was really, really important. And that included the whole SLT team. And when staff were getting trained, we supported, you know, we supported the staff and went into the rooms to allow them to kind of take part in that training. And how many, I think, across probably all our settings, how many times does 1 or 2 staff go out in training and they come back and the expectation is that they cascade it, which at times can be really, really challenging because you come back all excited. So for us, it was great that our local authority provided with that opportunity for them to spend the whole day with us and actually, you know, build that shared understanding and expectation about our outdoors as well. And I think taking part in that hands-on outdoor learning was really important, and actually looking at it through the lens of the child a lot of the time. So, you know, we had, the great thing as well, I suppose, was about that between the trainer and ourselves was that shared pedagogy that we had. You know, it wasn't about, you know, having to explain the service and what we believe in early years. It was very much they came in, looked at what we had, and were there to enhance it. So, you know, I suppose in one way, you know, it was absolutely about the confidence about staff, but actually it really made us reflect on our pedagogy as well. Sorry, my slides are moving by themselves. Thank you. So, staff's voice, you know, I want to kind of share with you what the staff kind of told us about the training. So I'll just read a kind of few extracts from this. So they were talking about our training, you know, remembering discussions about children managing their own risk. You know, think about, for example, rather than lifting children up onto a tree, but I think they want to be, and I spend time, you know, talking them through the process, which in turn builds confidence and decision making. It also allows us to observe their actions and emotions and how they're comfortable and they feel at that height, and provide challenge and support. And Arlene spoke about having the time to reflect on our own practice through the training, and about building our kind of understanding of the importance of supporting risk taking. Our deputy, who was also involved in the training, spoke about, you know, talking about risk benefit now rather than just focusing on minimising risk, although absolutely minimising risk is key, but actually looking at the benefits that that risk brought. You know, it's looking at the great opportunities for learning that risky play brings. She also spoke about, you know, embedding, you know, that love for the great outdoors as well. So this was, you know, great to hear that actually the impact the training had. You know, staff here, John also acknowledged, you know, about how lucky we are to have this space, and about, you know, the advantage of, you know, encouraging children to explore nature, to climb, to jump, all of these things. But actually, it was, what was key with John was about, you know, that continual reflection and evaluating the spaces that we have, and how are they working for our children? What are their voices telling us about how those spaces are? Here as well, we spoke about our outdoor spaces kind of supports our children with ASD and gives them that multi-sensory experience. You know, Arlene here talked about, you know, a little one taking their shoes off, you know, exploring the ground underneath, listening to the trees, you know, the pouring rain, the leaves falling. So it really did have an impact on our staff's confidence, as well as their pedagogy about what they did. And I think here, you know, our pedagogy, you know, shows that kind of clear links with our vision and values. And here on the slide, it talks about listening pedagogy, play, and our relational pedagogy. You know, the training absolutely upskilled the staff, built their confidence in delivering that. But, you know, how did it link with their pedagogy, and what did that look like in practice? Do you know, Malaguzzi talks about our image of the child, you know, is where our teaching begins. And I think for us, that was certainly the case, you know, looking at, you know, how do we view children? How do we see them? You know, do we see them as independent, confident thinkers who bring this amazing skill set with them and all the knowledge and the backstory that they have? And do we actually celebrate the uniqueness of all our children within the setting? Do you know, we were really, really clear from day one about that child-centred approach that we had to our pedagogy, and actually putting children right at the centre of it. You know, recently we reviewed our vision and values. You know, as a team, we created a set of guiding principles. So it was actually you know, one word kind of things, and actually what it did. Sorry, my slides, can anyone see my slides? They've disappeared.
No, Jackie, they've come off the screen at the moment.
Oh, right. I'm going to open the share tray again just to see if I can open it up.
Yep.
Is that okay? Technology's great, isn't it, when it's going? Can everybody see that?
I think it's just coming through now. That's us just back up there, Jackie.
Great. So as I said, we recently reviewed our vision and values, and I think, like lots of vision and values, sometimes they can be great big statements that actually, if you're you know, if you're asking staff to reflect on them, it can be really difficult trying to remember the whole context of what it kind of looked like. So we decided to come up with a set of guiding principles, key words that actually underpinned every aspect of our practice. You know, and I suppose when we were looking at, you know, our realising ambition, when we were talking about our guiding principles, we were actually looking, you know, at our words, our actions and our emotions about how we felt about our children and our setting. You know, so these values were respect, relationships, child at the centre, and nurture. And within each of these kind of key statements, and you know, the staff made a kind of paragraph, you know, a very short sentence below it. And actually what was really evident was children's voice running right the way through it. And hopefully you'll see that as we move through the presentation. I think at Rowena it was really important that we created this listening environment where staff and children were you know, used those high quality observations and the reflections and listen to children's stories as well. You know, I suppose Evans talks about this, you know, strategies when we're kind of creating a listening pedagogy within the setting. Spoke about offering choice, free flow environments, flexible routines, engaging with parents, and actually all of these link with their guiding principles. And I think my screen presentation has disappeared again. Hold on. I'll have to see if I can share it again. Everybody see it?
I think it's just coming through, Jackie. It's just loading.
That's okay. That's it there. Great. And again, what was really key for us was our relationships that we had with children and that relational pedagogy. And actually, you know, creating that environment where relationships are really important and actually just as important as our kind of physical environment as well. And I think, you know, at the heart of that is absolutely about that trust and about our communication and our interactions with our children as well. So I wanted to kind of just show you, you know, part of our kind of listening and our relational pedagogy, linking and how it linked to our training at Stramash. Here, you know, for us, that a listen to children's voice takes many forms. You know, here, the children were drawing their plans for the treehouse that they wanted to create. You know, this was an idea that the children decided. And as I said, during that session, the children drew the plans, but what they wanted their treehouse to look like. And what was really important to us was that they kind of co-created it along with everybody, along with the staff and the training providers as well. And I'm kind of going to run through a few slides, and it's really just to show you the environment. I know it's always really nice to see what people are kind of, you know, what their space looks like within settings. So, you know, we're so lucky to have, as I said, the spaces and actually amazingly wonderful big trees, established trees within the setting. And these examples, you know, children have created all of this in consult, you know, the children have created the plans and with support of the staff have created these amazing spaces. And I think for us, it was absolutely about understanding that play pedagogy and how children learn and how they develop. So it really does nurture that curiosity and problem solving and risk taking, and actually about children making choice. And then, you know, Greg Bottrell talks about play as freedom. You know, and I think, you know, this kind of, the slides kind of depict that. Children go out, they explore the environment. We don't need to watch over them every second. You know, the space is very safe as well, which is great. Here, you know, there is challenges. You can see how big the space is. Do you know, like everyone else at times staffing, you know, with this amazingly wonderful outdoors, it does actually, you know, take all of us to kind of to manage it. But actually, if you really, really value it, it's not about, you know, I think historically sometimes the outdoors is the place that's closed first if the playrooms, you know, if we're short on staff or something's happening. But actually at Rowena, you know, the playroom is absolutely the last thing that has to close because we know the importance of outdoor play for our children. It is about them being free and about being curious outdoors. And again, this is another space just to kind of show you. And you can see it is really untidy at times, you know, the children decide what that looks like and what the space, it's you know, natural resources. It's not, you know, big expensive resources that we'll have to buy. We actually utilise what's lying about, what is broken, and we create other structures with it as well. And here you'll see this amazingly wonderful structure that we have. And again, this was co-created with the, you know, the children and staff worked together to create this. And you can see here, you know, lots of discussion in the, you know, about risky play and how the benefit of having that, those open discussions with staff about the benefits of risky play, and actually listening to our children's voices. They created this. This was what they wanted to do. And we can see it's working here. These are just some other examples that we've got. You know, we have, it's called a danger wall that we have. You'll see the little one in the middle, where they climb up using the climbing rocks. And right at the top, they toot a horn. And the sense of achievement that that brings for our children, you know, is absolutely amazing. Here we have another child, you know, Lily, who absolutely loves to be outdoors and explore nature. You know, with Lily, it's very much, you know, her understanding of danger, but actually, you know, you have to be risky, you know, take risks to understand risks as well. So we're really important that all our children get these opportunities. I'm going to show you a video, just a short video. This is Riley. Riley has ASD and he doesn't use words, but he uses lots of humming and lots of stimming as well. He's really sensory driven and he, you know, seeks out sensory experiences throughout the play, and he loves to spend lots of times outdoors, taking his shoes off and exploring. I'll play it just for a few seconds, just to kind of show you.
Okay, it's buffering slightly now.
Okay.
We've got another minute or so left.
Sure, no worries. I can just and I think for this video it was really clear for us to to listen to Riley. Knowing Riley really, really well was really important, and acting upon what he was telling us as well. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to move this on. And again, you can see the pictures here that depict Riley's interest about having that attuned adult. These are some of our spaces as well, just to kind of show you emotional spaces where children can actually take themselves away, just, you know, have that space. And again, that's really important. And these were created by the children as well. Children's voice, we actually looked at our learning environment recently, and rather than us decide how amazing it should look, the children decided. So they went round and picked their areas that they really liked and areas that they wanted to further enhance as well, which had worked really well. This is our indoor space, and I suppose what I want to kind of say here is the importance of that listening pedagogy doesn't just happen indoors. You know, these are the spaces. We have our free flow lunches that we do at Rowena. Again, listening to children's voice about, you know, when they want to come for lunch and listening to what they have to say is really, really important. We've got some testimonials here, but I'll forward through. I know we're kind of time-wise, but it was lovely for people to say about that ethos running through our setting, that listening ethos in our outdoors underpins. So what's the next chapter for us? So children, again, are part of that improvement priority. Part of that is we're planning for mindful spaces outdoors. And here it kind of depicts children's voice about what they want in their outdoor spaces here. And I suppose finally, I just want you to kind of think about, you know, what is your story? What is your pedagogy? What does your practice look like? And what does listening to children look like within your setting? And how does it feel for children? Thanks so much for listening. Thank you.
Jackie, thank you so much for that. I'm not going to pause just now because we are tight for time, but that was really inspiring. Thank you. Now, the next part of our presentation today is from two settings that are part of the East Ayrshire Outdoor Learning Network. And I'm going to share with you a video from Craighead Country Nursery School. Elspeth has gone above and beyond with this. She wasn't able to join us today, but I am delighted that we have Heather from Craighead Country Nursery School in the audience with us today. So let me switch this on and we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't get any buffering and it all works okay.
Hello, my name is Elspeth Goldie and I'm the manager of Craighead Country Nursery School. I'm here today to tell you a bit about a project we've been involved in called Out to Play. The Out to Play programme was delivered by the Scottish Government and it was a series of online meetings that involved 7 different early years settings from right across Scotland. The overall aim of the project was for our children to spend at least 50% of their time outdoors. The whole project was based on using the Model for Improvement and lots of other quality improvement tools. This is something we didn't have any previous experience of using and meant that we had to learn from the beginning. The next video gives you an overview of the project and why we wanted to become involved. My name is Elspeth Goldie and I'm the manager of Craighead Country Nursery School. We're based in Mauchline in East Ayrshire. We want
Apologies, colleagues, I understand the sound has gone off, so I'll just restart that again and hopefully it'll work.
and boots and making sure every child is warm and ready for the experience. We felt that our staff are motivated, they understand the benefits of outdoors, but this doesn't always translate to actually getting there, so we wanted to explore further this aspect as well. It's been really useful for us to actually see the impact of the changes that we've made. The run charts can show staff as a whole team where the improvements are and what impact they're having. The PDSA cycles have been really useful to chat through and involve the whole staff team in tweaking the changes and making sure they're having the best impact they can. So the Out to Play project has been really beneficial to Craighead. I've felt that it's given us the skills to use in terms of PDSA and in terms of tools for improvement, and it's made us really think as a whole staff team what goes into the change and who's involved in it, when it's going to happen, how it's going to turn out at the end, and it's made it part of our everyday practice. So you would have heard in that video the mention of PDSAs. PDSA is just a model for improvement that means plan, do, study and act. What we had to do was record the time we actually spent outdoors. And we were very surprised initially that this is not nearly as much as we thought. We had a discussion as a staff team to work out what change ideas, what would improve this, how could we make this better. There was many ideas put forward, but the one we took forward and tried first was having snack outdoors.
To identify this change idea, we collated some data. We realised that some kids were reluctant to coming in for snacks, so they were missing having the snack, or they were coming in for their snack and then they weren't necessarily going back out. So this was putting a break in their play, and it meant they were actually spending less of time outdoors because they were just deciding to stay in once they were in. Through doing the PDSAs, we learned that if a snack was available to the children outdoors, they spent more time outdoors as they wasn't having a break in their play.
We learned that we had to be organised, and we had to set up a box with soap, paper towels and a bin that was easy accessible. We also learned that it makes such a difference when everybody's involved in the process.
It also helped us identify that the staff member responsible for snack in the playroom had to be prepared with the box ready to go.
We noticed an impact as the children enjoyed having snack outdoors. The children did not have to go inside to eat, and this meant that there was less time going in and out of their waterproofs, which allowed staff to spend lots more quality time with the children, and the staff were more relaxed about snack and not having to rush to see who had snack and who didn't have any snack.
As a result of this, and to ensure it was part of everyday routines, it was put into the area script. So part of your job when you're on snack is you go in and you prepare the snack for outdoors so that it's ready just to take straight outdoors. When staff are in their area, they should be able to look at the script and know that that is part of their daily routine to get that organised, so that is happening on the daily.
So having snack outside was only one of our change ideas. It was the same as Alnwick Early Years Centre used, as you can see in that video. Some other ideas that were put forward from the group were things like registration outdoors, so children being dropped off in the outdoor area so they didn't have to come out once parents had left, using local community areas more often, having planned walks, things that would provide comfort for staff and children, especially in the cold weather, such as having hot water and juice stations out in the garden area, and also things like having changes to planning so that outdoors was at the forefront of every staff member's mind. At Craighead, one of the other change ideas that we did use was looking at planned walks, and using a PDSA, we implemented changes to support the staff team so that these walks would take place with much less effort. Here's another wee video just to show you how that went.
We needed to change the outdoor area that we use, as in the winter it becomes very, very muddy. We realised that we had to alter the way that we use the area that we've got, so we decided to introduce walks, which the children absolutely love. Through working with the PDSAs, we learned that organisation was key. As a team, we decided to sit down and basically go through what was going to work. The idea that we use is now a backpack. The backpack includes things like emergency contacts, a throw rope if we were going to walk to the river, wipes, tissues, the essentials for going walks with kids. We also complete a wee card which we hand into the office before we set off, so that lets the office know where we're going, when we left, the approximate time that we'll be back, and how many children and staff that we've got. Both staff and children love going walks. The children's physical capability has improved as well. Doing the out to play has definitely helped the kids realise that it's okay to go out now. Do you know, I think sometimes with kids they're scared they miss something, but it's definitely had a huge impact on staff and children's well-being as well.
We as a staff team have learned so much from being part of the Out to Play project. The main take is that small changes have the biggest impact. You also need to involve all staff in the process. Staff need to know why they're making the change, and if they understand the reasons behind it, it's more likely to happen. We've also found that it takes so much time to embed new routines into practice. Things don't happen overnight, and it takes a lot of effort to make something part of everyday practice. The final thing I want to say is that outdoors is the best place to be. Children are happy, staff are happy, so get outside.
Colleagues, I'm going to press right ahead with our next presentation from Margaret Blades at Flowerbank Early Childhood Centre in East Ayrshire, and I'll just load this up. Now, we have Margaret with us this morning, but Margaret, I'm going to say, just because of time, I'm going to leave the video clip that you have out of this. But if anybody would like to see the additional clip that Margaret's given us, please pop your email address in the chat and we can send you a link to that. So colleagues, could somebody let me know that you can see the presentation on the screen, please?
Yeah, that's okay, Sharon.
Sorry, I'm going to have to take it down just to make sure we get the sound, and I'll bring it straight back up. So hopefully this is us now. Margaret, thank you so much for that. Now, we actually do have a few minutes left just now, so I'm just going to bring your video up and we'll play that so that everybody can see it. Sorry, I'll do this again to make sure you can hear it this time.
So the setting we're currently in is Flowerbank Early Childhood Setting. We have the equivalent of 77 full-time children. Flowerbank is located in the town centre of Kilmarnock. We've got 4 main gardens, 3 of which are accessible from the playrooms, allowing for free flow. We have got a secret garden up the back and a main hall which we require to go out in groups. We also have a woodland and an allotment area that we visit regularly. It was important for Flowerbank to be involved in the Out to Play programme because it gives our children a lot of opportunity to be outside. As we are in this town centre, some houses and some apartments don't have easy access to the outdoors. And the challenges that we've seen and that we've overcome is showing parents and giving them the information that they need to be able to dress their children appropriately. We've been able to show them that we're taking all the learning that they would normally do inside and it's just going directly outside.
We've increased the focus on spending more time outside and understood the importance of that. I think the children are more focused and engaged outside. They're developing their skills such as risk assessing, gross motor skills and the language skills. I think there's a huge health benefit for both the adults and the children. By implying quality improvement, I think that I've developed my skills and knowledge in gathering data. I think this has brought the team together and it's increased my confidence in leading outdoor learning.
So there we go. I'm so glad we got a chance to show that. Colleagues, we're just coming to the end of our time, but can I say a huge, huge thank you to all of our presenters today, to Jackie from Rowena Nursery School, to Margaret Blades from Flowerbank Nursery and Elspeth Goldie from Craighead Country Nursery School. You can see the fantastic work that's going on across Scotland, and we know there are many, many more examples of that, but we hope that what you've seen here today has perhaps inspired you and prompted you to go further on your journeys. So thanks very much, everyone.